Guys, so I just got done doing some training, and there was like 100 people at the beginning of the week, and there's like 10 people at the last session right now, and that's life. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about in this video, is like how to survive the war of attrition. In every journey that you start out on, there's going to be a mass of people that are after the same goal. At the end of the day, there's only going to be a small percentage of people that are competing for it, and then a very, very small percentage of people that will actually achieve it. So how can you become, it's like that poem by Heraclitus. Out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are real fighters, but the one's a real warrior, and he'll bring the others home. So we're going to talk about how to become the one. And just so we can give you guys some context, and where I'm qualified to talk to you about this is, you know, I was in the bottom 1% of the military when I came in. I was a quitter in life before I joined the military. I was a straight quitter. I quit on myself. And in life, you can have winning seasons and losing seasons. You can have seasons where you're striving. I got fucking cut up in there. You have seasons where you're really striving after it, and you can have seasons where you're a has-been. You washed out. You quit on yourself. You suck. That's a horrible place to be. I've been there. And what I did to turn my life around, which is the same thing that you guys can do, is make a decision that you're going to turn it around. Now, the next piece is, how do you survive after you've made a committed decision to really go for it? You said, fuck this, enough is enough. I'm going after what's inside of my heart. I'm not going to live a life in quitting. I'm not going to live a life of quitting on myself. I'm going to live a life of going after it. Well, the next thing that happens after you make that firm, committed decision is you're going to start off on the journey. And there's going to be it's like social media. Every person with a cell phone can open up a social media account and put coach on their Instagram bio. But at the end of the day, there's only going to be a few that weather the storm and they make their way to the end result. Just like in business, it's the same thing. Just like in the Rangers, it was the same thing. Just like in any sports team, it's the same thing. Any journey in life, okay? So how do you become the one? All right. The issue that we have is this. All right. If you can solve this one problem, you will not only immediately separate yourself from the masses, but you will dramatically increase your odds of becoming that top 1% bad motherfucker. All right. And that's implementation. Okay. We have to ask ourselves, why do we have we don't have an information, we're in the information age, right? We don't have an information problem. We don't. We have ChatGPT, we have AI, we have Google, we have YouTube, we have all the information that we need readily at our fingertips. And yet everybody's results, they actually seem to be worse than they used to be. Like when information was not readily available. It's like the more information we give people, the harder it is for them to even succeed. Why is it, man? So we have an implementation problem. That's the real issue. And we're going to fix that. So how do you become an implementer? Not a knowledge seeker, an implementer. Somebody that takes action and doesn't just take action and like does the same shit over and over again, but continues to take adjusted action, right? You learn from your mistakes so that at the end of the week, like I just walked out of practice, you can be one of those people that are standing there and you're one of a few. Okay? In your life, man. Okay? What I would say over the years, the biggest thing that I did personally is I have this mechanism that I trained myself to, this mindset mechanism that I trained myself to develop. After I quit on myself and I was basically just wasting my life, you know, I made a firm decision to change my life, right? And I knew that I never wanted to go back to that spot. And that's what you're going to have to decide. You're going to have to decide to never go back to that place of quitting. You're going to have to burn that inside of your mind. You're going to have to burn it inside of your mind every single day. And every day you have to fight to keep the light on, to keep the on switch on. So the mechanism that I personally developed, which I think can help you guys, is I have this mindset. It's a belief system that if I ever want something, okay, there's two things that I'll do. There's two parts of this. There's two action mechanisms. One is when I receive a new piece of information that's life-changing. If I receive a new piece of information that's life-changing, my mechanism inside of my mind is don't do it like right now is the right time. Like do it now, do it now, do it now. So as soon as you get that little piece of information that hits you, you guys know what I'm talking about. As soon as you get that like aha, like you're running down the road, you're doing your cardio, you have that aha moment, and you're like, dude, that's a life-changing piece of information. Boom, immediately put that shit into motion. Okay, an object in motion stays in motion, right? So that this mechanism, you can train this mechanism of do it now. The do it now mechanism is something that my mentor taught me, but early on in my life, I started working on it because I never wanted to be a person that hesitated. So I developed it in the military. All right, now the second mechanism, mindset mechanism, that is, if I ever want something, if I ever desire something, maybe you're sitting there scrolling on Instagram, you're like, man, I really want to have a six-pack one day, or man, I really want to have a Lamborghini one day, or man, I really want to have a coaching business one day, or man, I really want, whatever it is, I want to. Whenever I want comes through, the mechanism that I created for myself is to not live in a state of want, live in a state of action. I refuse to live in a state of want. I choose to live in a state of action. That is the mindset mechanism that will shift at your paradigm. So this is what it takes: rehearsal, it takes practice, right? Like, you guys ever meet somebody that goes to a restaurant and they take, like my wife, right? If we're going to the restaurant, she doesn't want to get overwhelmed, so she looks at the menu before we go there. And when she gets there, she knows exactly what she wants. Me, I don't look at the menu. I just get there and I give myself a very short period of time to make a decision. I go to the highest priced item, and then I look for the healthiest priced underneath that highest priced item. So I'll go highest price. Oh, it looks like this lobster casserole, or not casserole, but like this carb loaded, fat loaded like thing. I'm like, nope, not gonna get that. What's the next healthy option down? Boom, I get it. So this mechanism of decision making, all right, is what will put you into a state of implementation. And I had to teach myself how to do this, okay? A young man messaged me earlier today, and he was like, hey, I was thinking about alignment and how, like, really when you want to like achieve something in life that's greater than yourself, you got to be in alignment. You got to get your behavior in alignment with your ideal self. And that's true, man. It's true. You have to pretend like you're going to be the person. Like a champion in MMA or any sport is a champion far before they ever win the award or title of champion, before they win the belt, right? Because they behave like a champion. Well, yeah, you have to be in alignment for sure, but more importantly, before you're in alignment, before you just run around thinking about, oh, I'm being this person, no, you have to take definite, you have to take firm action. You have to implement the information that you're learning. You can't just drive down the road and be like, yes, I'm fucking the world champion. I am the world champion, and just be in this state of, like, that's a good process, but it's not going to create the life that you want. It's good to live in that state of delusion, but if you live in a state of delusion without action, then you're going to find yourself very frustrated. So implementation is the recipe, or the key, the secret. You guys know this, if you can simply implement faster than everybody else. I got taught this by a mentor back in, it was like 2018 or 19, after I'd already started working on this mindset. I started working on the do it now mindset, and or I'll even call it the mechanism, the do it now mechanism. And I'm not gonna live in a state of want, I'm gonna live in a state of action mechanism. I started working on those, and then I met this mentor in, he's like one of those virtual mentors, right? The guy, I met him one time in person, but like when I really study somebody, I make them my mentor inside of my mind. And my wife even makes fun of me because she's like, you act like you know that person. I'm like, well, I've studied them enough, I feel like I do. But point is that this person, I see him as a mentor because I've been around his content, his material since 2015. And I was at a thing listening to him speak, and he said, the separator in life is your ability to take action. He said that. And he said, some of you guys at the end of this conference are gonna go socialize. He says, some of you guys are gonna go back to your room and check out. And then there's gonna be a very small percentage of you guys that are gonna go back, and you're gonna start putting this stuff into action. You're gonna be implementing as fast as possible. That is the separator in life. The separation in life is not in what you know. The separation in life is in what you motherfucking do, man. It's in your action. And the world is full of people that live in a state of inaction. They don't do shit and they expect a lot, man. Do not be one of these people. Do not be one of these delusional motherfuckers, man, that is running around thinking that they're owed the world, thinking that they're owed everything, and they don't take any action, dude. we have all been that person, and it makes every single one of us sick. And the real issue is that we have fear. The real issue is that we have doubt. The real issue is that we're scared. And you have to learn to conquer those things. And the only way, you can read any fucking book that you want, you can develop any, acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. You can have all these fancy, fancy quotes and fancy ideas, but if you do not learn how to turn on the light switch of action, the light switch of fucking on, and confront that fear and take action, you're gonna end up feeling good about doing nothing. And I see people doing this all the time. It is crazy, dude. And like I said, I'm sitting over here. I'm a player coach, man. I'm in the game with you guys. So I come in here because I don't care how big, what your life is right now. I don't care if you got an 8-figure business. I don't care if you got a 9-figure business. There's an area in your life where you suck. There's an area in your life where you're not, maybe it's your fitness. You got the money in the business, but your fitness sucks. Maybe it's your fitness, but your money sucks. Maybe there's every single one of us has these areas in our life that needs more action. So today's video is how to separate yourself from the losers in life. How to set yourself apart from the quitters. How do you set yourself apart and become the top 1%? It's with implementation, not information. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. If you love this, it fired you up, comment down below. You guys, let's comment down below. Conquer all.